Hi everyone, it's April 1st, 2023, and basically here's the rundown. I've been running a podcast for the last 9 months and 2 days, but in the last couple months, I think I really realized this is something I want to take seriously and really invest a lot more, let's say, time into, because the dream right now is if this kind of thing, like content creation, if that could be my full-time gig, basically. I don't know how realistic it is, but for that reason, and just also just wanting to see how I progress, I thought maybe every month I'll kind of do a check-in video like this, ask myself the same 10-ish questions that I've brainstormed on these sticky notes, and just answer them just to document my progress over time. And just see how much I'm growing, hopefully. Maybe I'm going to be declining. We'll see. But without further ado, let me just get into them. Number one is, what have I been creating in the last month? Mainly the podcast. Occasionally, I write songs and it kind of ebbs and flows. Sometimes I'm like really into music and I write and post a lot on my music account, but that's not been the case this month. I've really just been focusing on the podcast. I think I've done 1 or 2 songs when I was sad, but that was just that moment. How big is my audience? On Instagram, I'm looking now, I have 178 followers, a good number, a good handful being bots. The podcast, I get an average of 7 plays per episode. I've released 43 episodes, I think, and over all of those, in all time, I've gotten 1,238 plays. Oh. On YouTube, I know I have like 8 subscribers and probably less for the few videos that I've put up, which is fine. I've not invested any time really into thinking about YouTube, so that's really okay. That is kind of like my follow-up question. Is that enough? The numbers I listed to you, is that enough for me? On one hand, yes, very much so. When I see a podcast statistic and see that an episode got even 1 play, genuinely, I get so filled with gratitude and excitement. One person listened to what I made, and that's a soul, and that's like a life that I could have hopefully positively affected. So on that end of things, yes, it's more than enough. But I will say I do fall into the trap sometimes of being like, well, there's really nothing else I have to measure my quote unquote success. So all that I end up looking at is kind of fixating on the numbers and then being like, 7 plays per episode? That's kind of embarrassing. I can never say that on like a video. Well, here I am. But, it's so embarrassing. It's pitiful, especially after I've spent like almost a year working on this show. But I do have to remind myself to keep things in perspective. Not only that idea of that's 7 lives, or that's 7 people. That's actually like pretty decent, I'd say, and I'm very grateful for it. But I also just have to remember too, just in a practical matter of time. Yeah, maybe I can feel like I've almost been doing this for a year, but I've only really gotten serious about being consistent and really like trying to put out the best quality stuff maybe in the past few months or so. And all the people that I'm comparing to, all the creators or shows that I'm comparing my numbers to and deeming it as not good, are people who have been at this for years and are actually professionals. So I have to keep things in perspective. Am I making any money? Short answer, no. I don't think I've made a penny off of my content creation. In fact, I'm in the negatives. I know I've invested a lot in different equipment, and also gifts that I like to send to them after they've appeared on my podcast. But honestly, that's fine. I've also gotten from this podcast, I may not have made real money, but I've really had improved mental health because this is such a passion project, and that's priceless. So, well, no, I haven't made any money. How much of my time have I been spending on content creation? There were a few weeks in this last month that I had to skip releasing my weekly episode because I had final exams and then spring break trips. So I technically skipped production, but I mean it when I say I spend pretty much every minute of every day invested in this podcast. I'm always thinking about it. I'm always dreaming about it and thinking about new ideas to implement for my content. I feel like such a fraud saying content because I'm really small and like not, I don't think I could say I'm a content creator, but that's the hope. So I guess you speak in the way that you want to be, right? I don't know. Okay. The most exciting progress I've made recently. I'm just going to be honest. Speaking of followers, I've seen a somewhat small, steady increase in followers recently. And yes, like I said, some of them are just bots, but also just real people have started to follow me. And of course, I'm grateful for my family and friends who do. But there's something to be said about a stranger who doesn't really have obligation to follow along with your stuff, doing so because genuinely they're just interested in you. So that I'm very excited about. Okay, what are my goals for the next month? I want to explore just how much the podcast and Instagram reels can kind of intersect in terms of like what I'm doing, because I've been using it, or I've been making reels under the guise of I'm promoting like my different podcast episodes. But in general, I just like making videos. I like editing videos. So I want to explore where that fits into my whole to my, I don't know, my whole brand or whatever. And that goes into the next question. Do I have any concerns? Yeah, speaking of branding or whatever that means, my concerns are always like, am I doing enough? And more so, like, am I doing the right thing? They talk so much about branding and creating like your niche or whatever you're known for, and I don't know enough about marketing and all the social media savvy to know, am I being a consistent persona? Am I building who I want to come off as? So that's been a little bit hard. Another concern I have is, yes, of course, I do want to increase maybe my reach and engagement, and I do get happy when I see more followers, like I said. But I've also started to worry about privacy. Like, also, what if somebody weird follows me, or, yeah, I don't know, I get a stalker or something. I don't know, like my mind goes crazy places. So that's something I'm concerned about, privacy. My biggest barriers right now. I'm in school. I'm in my last year of college, so just having to go to classes and meetings and stuff because I'm not a full-time content creator. Responsibilities and meetings and everything is, taking away time. So that's kind of a barrier. Also practical things like locations of where I record my episodes. It's kind of hard because at my apartment here that I'm filming at, there's often construction going on outside all day, and the sounds are really loud, so it makes it really hard to record. My last big barrier, perfectionism. This is a bit ironic, but I have so many ideas and so many dreams that I'm so excited about that I just let them die because I let them all build up. And I think I get so overwhelmed by like, I'm so excited about this stuff and I don't want to mess it up that I don't even know where to start. So it's almost better in the moment to just, black out on my couch and like doom scroll or something. So perfectionism, big barrier. What am I proud of? I think, I was talking about branding and kind of finding your voice. It's something I'm struggling to figure out, but also I think as it stands, I'm pretty good about having a very unique, creative voice. In terms of, I feel like the content I make is quite original or has like my personality in it. And I think that's a byproduct of this also seems pretty counterintuitive, but even though I want to get into podcasting and content creation, I really don't listen to many other shows and I don't really follow other creators, but in a way that's kind of worked to my advantage because I think it helps me just really do whatever comes to my mind rather than follow the mold of what I see everybody else doing. Lastly, who or what is inspiring me right now? One of the creators I do follow is Elise Myers. I just love her. I love looking at her and I feel like that's where I want to be, but I love hearing her story too. So I get a lot of inspiration from her. One thing she keeps saying is kind of in like a baseball metaphor. Don't be afraid to just keep hitting singles. And basically that means, yes, with that perfectionism thing, there can be the temptation to always want to hit so-called home runs, right? But also take take pride in the little wins that, even if it's not the best thing you've ever done, if you're taking steps in the right direction, especially with content creation, then you should be proud of yourself. That kind of goes into also that I've been really wanting to just watch interviews or just listen to podcast episodes where people share their success stories, because I think when they talk about their humble beginnings or where they started out, it really just like I see myself in them. But I also want to see myself hopefully where they are right now, because they've been a success. So that it's just, I love hearing about success stories. The last thing that inspires me is a song actually by Taylor Swift that she wrote for a movie that was based on a true story, but basically the message is it's kind of from the perspective of the wife of a singer who had kind of a rough start, and he had to really work hard but eventually found success. And the perspective of this song is just saying, look, like, you maybe didn't believe in yourself, but I always did. I always supported you, and I saw you through it all. I always believed in you, and you've worked hard and persevered, and now you've made it, and I'm so proud. And well, the name of the song is Sweeter Than Fiction, and this life is sweeter than fiction. So instead of me just explaining it like that, let me just sing it for you right now. I hope this is actually decent, but I thought it would be a fun touch. So let me grab my guitar. Okay. Also, if you can't tell, I keep like blinking weirdly with my left eye because my contact is like really dry. I'm like maybe folding up or something. I don't know. It's very uncomfortable, but I'll just try to make it through this song. I'll just sing a second of it. Just a shot in the dark. Oh, all you got are your shattered hopes. They never saw it coming. You hit the ground running, and now you're on to something. I say, what a sight when the light came on. Prove me right when you prove them wrong. And in this perfect weather, it's like we don't remember the rain we thought would last forever and ever. There you'll stand, 10 feet tall. I will say, I knew it all along. Your eyes wider than distance. This life is sweeter than fiction. There you'll stand next to me, all at once. The rest is history. Your eyes wider than distance. This life is sweeter than fiction. Okay, I don't know if you caught all the lyrics. I really hope that you'll go listen to the full real song where Taylor sings it much better than me. But I just love the lyrics because I feel like, even though I haven't necessarily reached that point of success, I'm hoping yet, but I feel like I still relate to this song very much in the sense of, things like shattered hopes and hitting the ground running, like really putting your all into it, your eyes being wider than distance. I feel like that's me right now, really having huge dreams, but I'm really, in a way, kind of, when I hear this song, I feel like I'm almost singing it to myself. Like, I want to believe in my future self, and a line that is my favorite is, prove me right when you prove them wrong. And so, I don't know, sometimes with these big dreams, I can feel a bit stupid, not just in the eyes of other people, but for myself. I feel very self-conscious, like, wow, I talk a big talk, like I have all these dreams, and then here I am with like 2 people listening and a dog maybe. But, it's just, I have to remember to keep believing in myself, and I want to prove myself right. If I keep believing in myself, I want to prove myself right when I prove them wrong. But really, them is like me too. It's also me, like me not believing in myself at the same time. But I hope that I will, because I think that honestly, I have a lot of ooh, I hate saying this out loud, but I feel like I have a lot of potential in that. If I keep the work ethic and keep putting in the hard work and time that I do right now, hopefully someday that'll pay off. I hate saying that because I feel like I'm like out here selling myself, which I never liked doing, but I'm just trying to be more honest with myself. But anyways, that's where I'm at right now. It is month 1 of me doing this, but month 9 going on 10 of content creation, if I'm qualified enough to say. This video has gone longer than I expected it to. Hopefully future ones will be, I'm aiming for like 10 minutes or less, but if you watched, hey, thanks for being interested. If not, really, it's fine. I'm just doing this for myself, but okay, see you soon, maybe.